Hey guys, good morning. Happy Monday. It's Daryl here. It is 5:30 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, today I want to go over it slowly one more time for those Trump supporters out there, those people that are having a hard time with this they seem to have a hard time with the whole Black Lives Matter movement, the term Black Lives Matter. Even just today on Facebook, I see some of my friends saying, I don't get it, I don't understand. All lives matter. Why are these black people destroying their own businesses? And on and on and on. Let me go over it slowly for you guys one more time. The term Black Lives Matter. This is to bring attention to the way that the country, but in particular the way law enforcement has been treating African American, black people, minorities in general in this country. Let's see. Ahmaud Arbery. The jogger in Georgia. All right, he was chased down pretty much just because he was black, and he seemed out of place. Somebody thought he looked suspicious for whatever reason. Chased him down with shotguns and ended up killing him. But here's the thing. There were no charges filed for what, a month? If that was a white person, do you think that same thing would have happened? Let's talk about George Floyd. This cop was kneeling on his neck. Now, there's no way, and if you look at the cop, knows he's on film, knows he's on camera. He hears that George Floyd is saying that he's going to die. He hears George Floyd call for his mother, saying he can't breathe, and this cop he could just be out watering his garden. Do you really think that this would happen to a white person? No. One of the things that really bothers me is this whole thing with what we call Karens. A lot of times it's women calling the police, threatening to call the police on black people just living their lives. A lot of times these Karens, these white women, but not just white women, just because they're in a more expensive building, in a more professional area, these white people, these Karens, assume that they're up to no good. But the really disturbing thing is the way that they threaten to call the police to get what they want, to get these black people to just go away and do what they want. The fact that they feel that all they have to do is threaten to call the police, that by calling the police, when the police get there, these Karens, these women are automatically saying that when the police get there, they're going to believe me over you, and you're going to go to jail. It's an unsaid threat, and this is what we're talking about here. Just the fact, I made a video yesterday talking about Trump supporters, and their argument is, well, these Black Lives Matter protesters are hypocrites and they have no right to complain, because as long as there's black on black violence in Chicago, gang, drug-fueled violence in Chicago, well, they have no right to complain about it. They're saying that basically they have no right to complain about being killed by the very people that are here to protect all of the country, all the citizens of this country, that they have no right to complain about that. Can you see how wrong that is? To say that these people, because there's violence somewhere else, that they all have to be scared of dying by the very hand of the people that are sworn to protect them and uphold the law. That right there, that's the problem. It's this unsaid attitude with a lot of white people that if a black person is in a white neighborhood, he's up to no good. It's judging all black people because of what a few black people do, or the actions of a few. It's like saying this, like I brought up in the other video. Mass murderers, the mass murderers, and not just mass murderers, but these mass shooters. They've almost all exclusively been white males, probably around my age, between, let's say, 25 to 45, white males, almost all of them, dozens of them in the last couple of years. What if every time a white guy like me got pulled over, the cops questioned him about shootings, asked him if he owns any assault rifles, asked him if he just assumed that because all of these mass shooters have been white, that, well, just this guy's white, so he must, there's a good chance he's a mass shooter, he's a mass murderer, because all mass murderers have been white guys. It's the same line of thinking. It's blaming innocent people for the actions of a few. It's stereotyping. It's lumping them all together. But the worst part here is the Black Lives Matter moniker. It's not saying that white lives don't matter. It's saying that it's time we brought attention to this. That week after week we see these black guys running away unarmed and being shot in the back. Not a threat. Even on the video, Rayshard Brooks, it was a taser, man. It was a taser. He was drunk. It was granted, it was some bad moves, but he didn't need to pay for that with his life. If that was a white guy, what if that was just a professional white guy? That made some bad choices and did the same thing. There would be so much more of an outcry for that, and that's what this Black Lives Matter movement is about. It's to bring attention that black people should not have to live in fear. Should not have to fear their sons and daughters out driving, that they're going to be killed or harassed or injured by the very people that are sworn to protect them. Because this is happening over and over, week after week, and we see this. So the Black Lives Matter movement is not saying that white lives don't matter. It's not diminishing anybody else's, the value of anybody else's life. It's just simply to bring attention to a situation that should not be should not be happening. Nobody should have to live in fear, especially in fear of the very people that are sworn to protect and uphold the law, because that's what's happening. The Black Lives Matter moniker, that slogan right there, is to bring attention to this situation, so there's conversation and dialogue and action on this. So hopefully in the future it diminishes and goes away, so that this doesn't keep occurring, where some police just automatically assume that it's a life and death situation, and the first thing they do is kill a person just because of the color of their skin, because that's what's happening. This is to bring attention to that, to bring dialogue, to bring action. It's not saying that white lives don't matter. It's not saying that at all. But because this is happening to the black community, we're saying it's got to stop, because black lives do matter. They matter as much as as white lives. That's what it means. Just because somebody wants equal protections and rights under the law, just because they want to be equal with the rest of us, does not diminish your protections or your rights. Doesn't mean that your life is worth any less just because other people want to be treated equally like you do. That's all it's saying. All right. You guys have a good Monday.